Hello, everybody, and welcome your faces to Just One Thing, where I talk about one thing and one thing only. Today, for you guys, I have a very more serious topic compared to my other topics that we've talked about. We're going to be talking about the Internet Archive Project and why it is important and why everyone should care about the Internet Archive. But first, I want to talk about nostalgia. Nostalgia is that feeling that everyone feels, everyone can relate to, and yet everyone feels it in a slightly different way. Whether you think of childhood memories, good times and bad, traditions and events that leave lasting impressions on you for years and years to come, until you start to tell stories about them and tell them to new generations, and then you grow more and more out of touch with society, or at least you feel like it. When I think about some of the things that make me most nostalgic, I think of sledding down hills with my father during winter break, or sitting in tents until 3 a.m. with a whole bunch of Boy Scouts playing Magic the Gathering, of all things, or sometimes with my little brother playing Flash games on our home PC. And unlike the card games or sledding or other traditions that I have, many of the internet landscapes that I traversed in the early 2000s have the potential to disappear almost entirely. Contrary to what you've heard growing up, what you post on the internet does not stay there forever. Yes, it has the potential to be saved and last forever, but this is not guaranteed. Constant archiving, saving, and backing up must be done in order to maintain this. Just like any other form of data, it must be properly saved, otherwise it has the potential to be destroyed and lost. So you might be asking yourself, what is the Internet Archive? Well, the Internet Archive is a non-profit organization that created a project that started in 1996. It is a library of all of the artifacts of the internet congealed into one single website. It is filled with images, it is filled with hyperlinks, it is filled with media files, screenshots, pretty much anything that they can find they're attempting to save. It is funded by donations and other grants, as well as fueled by the volunteers that end up working and posting to the Archive It website. As stated in the Adrian LaFrance article, Raiders of the Lost Web, the web as it appears at the moment is a phantasmagoria. It is not a place in any reliable sense of the word. It is not a repository, it is not a library, it is constantly changing patchwork of perpetual prowess. Now that's a really wordy way of saying nothing on the internet lasts forever. Therefore, having a system like the Internet Archive is important. Servers are not maintained, domains are lost, distributors move on, and at any time someone could decide to delete what they have saved. However, we must ask, is it enough? Is what's being saved enough, and is it enough to just back it up once on the Wayback Machine? On the Internet Archive, they say that they use this program called Archive It to save what they call important websites. What in their mind is important, and more importantly, what does the algorithm say is important, and what is the algorithm missing as a result? Is every single tweet ever posted worth saving? Every single Facebook post? Maybe. When we start thinking about hacktivism and slacktivism and digital social movements arising in society like the hashtag #MeToo movement, and how much of this is worth saving and externalizing to an archive. In the past, we have saved speeches of Redders during these social and cultural movements, so in what ways do these things compare? Evgeny Morozov would argue that slacktivists around the world, those simply liking posts and joining groups to make themselves feel good and look good, are in no way worthy of being studied as social justice leaders like MLK or Malcolm X. But we need to ask ourselves, where do we draw the line? The questions we come up with and the discussions that we have when we consider the Internet Archive is an ever-changing discussion, just like the landscape of the internet itself. It's never finite, and it's always growing, and there's always more things being brought up, and that's why it's important to consider these things no matter what goes on. I want to say you should feel free to leave a comment or leave a post on the Facebook post that this will be along with, talking about your thoughts of the Internet Archive and what you think is worth saving, or should we just let it all go to the flies and not save anything? Everything is Snapchat now. Yay. I'd love to know what you think. This has been Just One Thing with me, Jared, and I would just like to thank all of you for listening to my little spiel about the Internet Archive, and just to kind of like pick your brains and add a little information about something that I think is really important and really cool. So thank you guys so much for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.